So we had a call from a listener in Madison, New Jersey, and he had a question about Skip Laurels. Here, listen to his call.
Yes, good morning. My name is Hoke. I'm over here in Madison, New Jersey. About a year ago, I had a local landscaper installing some Skip Laurels, about 5 feet tall. They were doing great for a while, but now at the end of the winter, they're all turning yellow, and they look like they're going to die. When they installed these things, I noticed that they left the burlap bags around the root system and just stuck them right into the ground. Should they have taken off the burlap bag, or is it okay to leave the burlap bag on? We enjoy your program in the morning. My wife enjoys listening to you. Thank you very much for your effort. Have a pleasant day. Bye.
Thank you for the message. And we always like to hear, are we doing all right? How are we doing? Thank you. But so let's easiest thing first. Taking the burlap off would be the wrong thing to do. That you leave the burlap on, it rots in the ground, and it doesn't really affect anything. The only thing that slightly they could have done, but it depends. If they had regular like sisal string around the ball that was holding the ball together, no problem. Maybe cut the strings at the top where they're basically holding everything together at the top of the trunk. But more than likely, you know, they either did that or it's not going to affect anything. If it is a poly rope or poly twine that a lot of times it's bright orange, those strings should be cut because they're not going to rot in the ground like the burlap will. So honestly, I think that he planted them okay. What's going on, it's not the way that they planted the plants. Here we go. We're on this theme. Skip Laurel, southern type plant, or a plant that is creeping into northern areas, makes an incredible hedge. Beautiful hedge, evergreen. It sends out a little foxtail-like flower, small little flower that is not grown for the flower, but it does send it out. And when it looks great, it looks great. But we had a pretty rough winter. You know, it was cold. It was really cold, and it was windy. Oh, I hate nothing more than wind and cold. And just like we talked the previous time, don't put stuff where you give it a little shelter. That's what's going on with these Skip Laurels. I don't think they're dead. I don't know because I can't see the plants, but they will flush out, and their new growth will hide all of that dead. There may be one or two. I'm not sure. I would ask your landscaper just to come and take a look at it, and he probably already knows because you aren't going to be the first person calling. We had overwintered some Skip Laurels at Bloomers, and we're not bringing them out yet because they need to flush. And so what happened? Why all of a sudden? First of all, they weren't established yet, so they're getting all of their moisture from this small little root ball that they're trying to fill up that 4 to 5 foot plant, and it needs to be kept watered. Not wet, moist, not wet, kept watered so that it's hydrated all the time. Going into the winter, things dry out. You know, we talk about it all the time where, you know, your heat is on in the house and you all of a sudden rub your nose and you got a bloody nose. And it's because everything is so dry. Everything is so dry. Static, you know, you end up going, you touch somebody and you give them a shock. All of that's the dryness that's in the air. And the plants are subject to that as well. They may not be in your, you know, some of them are in your house, but the ones that are outside are having the same issue, that all of that moisture is leaving the leaves and it's dissipating into the air and it's not staying around the root system. So when that wind comes, it burns them. So they basically have winter burn from that. Now, it's too late. You know, you have winter burn on your Skip Laurels. So what do? Water them. Make sure you're watering them because you're trying to push that new growth out so that it hides the old growth. You can check to see what's going on. You can take a pruner's outside, cut a branch about 6 inches down. You know, not big. You're not taking not a lumberjack branch, but just take a little stems, and you go down about 6 inches, cut it, and take a look and see if that's green or is that crispy dry. If it's crispy dry, Houston, we have problems. It may be dead, but they are very, very resilient. They can look like death, but they all of a sudden will start growing. And you've got to wait. You're going to wait till May. You're going to wait till May to know for sure. And that I honestly would not do anything other than feed them. Okay, just like the camellias, just like rhododendrons, just like your landscape plants, you're going to feed them with hollytone. Okay, it would also help to feed them with an water-soluble acid fertilizer for acid-loving plants. So treat them just like a rhododendron azalea. Again, you're doing that same thing. And that will help those roots to grow so that they can make more connections into your soil and hold more moisture in the roots and through the leaves. Now, let's talk about something here where if they are alive, next fall, what I want you to do is I want you to spray them with something called Wilt Stop. And what that does, and where's Julio? This is where I miss Julio. It's chapstick for your plants. And what it does is it holds the moisture in the leaf so that when they call it, it's an anti-transparent. Fancy, huh? Sounds smart today, aren't I? Anyway, that anti-transparent basically means that it holds the moisture in the leaf and it doesn't allow that moisture escape out of that leaf. So it holds it in, and it encapsulates it so that it holds that moisture in. And that's what you want. And that's what you want to do. So every fall, I encourage everybody to do all their plants because they'll be amazing when they start growing in the spring. Make sure you're reading the label instructions because there are some weird things with arborvitaes that you can't spray it. But again, that will work with the cherry laurels. Now, to go into another question about cherry laurels that I know I'm going to get. Your cherry laurels have like perfectly round holes in the leaves starting at the bottom and working up. And it looks like it's an insect, but it's not. It's called shotgun disease, and it's favorable on cherry laurels, and that it forms those perfectly round holes, and it's very common, and it goes on whether it's cherry laurel, skip pack laurel, Otto Lucan's laurel, any of the laurels that it goes into. And honestly, that's why they call it shotgun, because it looks like somebody shot it with a shotgun because there are all the holes in the leaves. Now, if your plants are staying wet, that's going to be a problem. That sometimes when they're a little too close together or near a wall, that can be an issue. But the way to control it is you need to spray it. And now pay attention. I'm going to say it real slow. I got admonished by a listener that you talk too fast. You want to use the fungicide called Mancozeb. Mancozeb. And that Bonide is available from Bonide. You can also use a copper fungicide, but I think Mancozeb is a better control. And that's spelled MANCOZEB. And it's a fungicide. And it also can be used for other things, but it's the best one to control the shotgun disease. Make sure you're feeding it, and again, Espoma hollytone in the spring and in the fall. Organic, great solution, and that water-soluble fertilizer, especially, again, we're our listeners got the issue where they've got the winter burn. They're gonna need to be pushed. They're gonna want them to start growing, and that by using a water-soluble fertilizer, it's immediately available to the plant. So it's something that will entice them to grow a little bit faster. So I hope that helps. I'd love to hear an update. Give us an update in a month. Let us know how they're doing, and I'd love to know, because all the time we give this advice out, but we never hear the results of it. Sometimes we have regular callers like Professor Steve. You out there? Are you still in Florida? When are you coming home? Anyway.
Hey, Steve. Hey. See you in the garden, Steve.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you may have Julio's direct line. Anyway, please let us know how they're doing. It's going to take a while. Again, probably sometime in the beginning of May, you'll have results. Something will be happening. So, and call your landscaper. Let them know what's going on. Don't beat him up too bad because it sounds like he did plant them correctly. It's not necessarily his fault. But again, have him come out there. Be friendly. Be nice. So you'll get better results.